Want to tell you about a special event that is happening this coming Saturday in Metuchen. It's going to be happening at the Metuchen Public Library this Saturday afternoon. It is a civil dialogue, and it's the first one that's going to be happening in Metuchen, in the borough of Metuchen. And with me now on the Miller Lite Jersey Central Newsmaker hotline to talk about the event and with some information about how you can get involved, let's talk to one of the organizers. This is Dr. James Stein, who is with us on WCTC. Dr. Stein, good morning. It's Bert Barron. How are you?
Morning, Bert. How are you doing?
Good. And thanks for taking some time this morning to talk. And this event in Metuchen on Saturday, why now, Dr. Stein? Why was now the time to have this dialogue about these couple of important topics that you'll be discussing?
Well, that's a great question, and I think now is a good time. Before was a good time. After was a good time. So the choosing of right now is relatively arbitrary. I'm stationed out here in Arizona. I happen to be home visiting family. Mm-hmm. And in my world, especially in the world of Facebook, I see a lot of ongoing discussions that unfortunately morph into arguments and then unfortunately kind of mudslinging situations. I think about my background in human communication and the fact that I'm certified to facilitate these dialogues. And I said, well, why not marry my academic interests and my hometown interests? And here we are.
Good. This is a great thing to do. And again, it's happening Saturday at the Metuchen Public Library, and we'll give you some details about how you can get involved if you'd like to. The topics that are going to be covered on Saturday, some rather important things. Gun rights will be among the discussions there, and the goal is for people to just kind of bring their opinions, bring their viewpoints. There is no right, there's no wrong. We just want to kind of hear from people and their takes on these topics that will be discussed. But with gun rights, Dr. Stein, you know how New Jersey leans. You know what the makeup of our state is. I think a lot of people, if we could just take the guns and put them in a hole and bury it over and get on with our lives, I think a lot of people would be happy. But it's much more complicated than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is much more complicated, especially when you get into a conversation about the Second Amendment, about the Constitution. And then when you try and blend that conversation with one of morality, meaning what should be done, what should not be done, what's right, what's wrong, and how does that influence policy, I don't want to go into too much because one of the important elements of civil dialogue is that the statement of conversation not be revealed until the last moment. Because like you said, it's about bringing your opinions. And we don't want people showing up with 20 pages of bulleted lists as to why guns should be banned or should be allowed or should be enforced. And that's the sort of environment that we want to avoid. We really just want people and their organic thought processes showing up.
Yeah, we don't want this to turn into some get-together for lobbyists and their information and what's happening. We don't want this to be just a civil, like it's called, a civil dialogue. We want this to be a peaceful discussion of people that are concerned about the world around them and just their take on things and share some ideas and maybe come up with some solutions and maybe just influence each other's thinking a little bit. I think, if anything, James, you want to come away with having, even if you have a particular side of a topic, have a little bit of an understanding for how people see the other side of the topic. I think when that happens, that makes events like this one successful, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and that's the primary goal of any of these conversations is this idea of mutual understanding, that you can walk into a room with a group of people with whom you may agree or disagree, and you can walk out of that room having your opinion changed or not changed. And it doesn't really matter. The idea is that thoughts get out there, thoughts are shared, and that people do it in such a way that they are civil with each other, polite, respectful. And in the several events that I've run leading up to this one, there has never been an incident of incivility, so I expect it to run extremely smoothly.
That's Jersey. We're cool people, right? We keep our cool, don't we, James? Yeah, of course. It's going to be an important discussion. It's a serious topic too. And where you are this morning, James, speaking to us from Arizona. I mean, if you ask someone there on that topic, a state like Arizona, you'd probably get a drastically different answer than what you hear here in New Jersey. But I think it's differences that make our country great. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. And I think that was the mentality surrounding the Institute of Civil Dialogue when they founded this idea. They are not super popular in the world of debate. It gets a lot of pushback because in debate there's winners and there's losers and there's, an organized contest, whereas here it's really just pushing for open conversation. And I like that you mentioned region because, when we do these on college campuses, conversations tend to lean in one direction, and when we do things in community centers, they tend to lean in another direction. So the same topic can have two very different conversations.
Oh, I'm sure.
On where it's held.
I'm positive it can. So the event is this coming Saturday. It's 2 to 4. There'll be some other topics that are discussed, but we'll leave that up to the attendees. We'll find out when they go. But this is going to be happening at the Metuchen Public Library beginning at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Is this something, James, people need to register for in advance for? And if so, how do they do so?
No, you don't need to register in advance. We do have a Facebook page. It's entitled Civil Dialogue Comes to Metuchen. We're encouraging people to RSVP on there so we can get an estimate of how many people to expect. The room that we're doing it in has a maximum capacity of 80, so it's not going to be a huge, massive event like you would expect to see at a civil hall. But if you're interested and the mood strikes you right, you can just show up. We ask that people show up about 15 minutes prior to the event so that they can get a name tag and just kind of get settled and seated.
See, I like this because the fact that it's not a gigantic get-together, you're going to have people that are interested and involved and are passionate about it, and they're going to have an opinion one way or the other. You don't have to worry about no one's going to scream over you, no one's going to call you names, no one's going to shout at you that you're wrong. The whole point of this is a civil dialogue, just what the name is. And this is something that I think will continue to grow. And this is definitely in growth mode, what you've seen, James. You go there are different parts of the country with these, and very good response as you set these up, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's been nothing but positive, which is the whole reason that I'm looking to set it up. And what I'm really hopeful is that we can get some of the community leaders to come meet. I know that we've got some incoming pastors from religious organizations. We've sent messages out to local politicians and local educational leaders as well, just to get people seeing what the process is about. And then hopefully making moves to spread the civil dialogue, get more meetings, and enter a situation where this becomes a regular thing and not an anomaly.
Yeah, that would be great, I think. So again, you are asked to RSVP on Facebook. Just search Civil Dialogue Comes to Metuchen and mark your calendars and join the event on Saturday at the Metuchen Public Library beginning at 2 o'clock for Civil Dialogue. Share your voice and build a bridge. That's what it's all about. Dr. James Stein, thank you for the time this morning here on WCTC, and good luck with this event, and keep me posted on any others that you're having in New Jersey in the coming months, and we'd love to kind of get the word out for you, okay?
Thank you very much, and you're more than invited to come if you want.
Thank you. I just might show up. I appreciate that. Thank you for the invite and good information, and good luck with everything on Saturday, okay?
Thank you. Take care, Bert.